Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and this video is going to be a recap of the developer Q&A that was on Thursday. Normally I make it a point to get these put out like the same day. However, this Q&A wasn't super interesting, but I did take the notes on it and watch the whole thing, so I am going to do a video recap of it as I usually do. Like I said, this video won't be quite as long as my normal ones are, just because I didn't take as many notes. I didn't think many of the questions were interesting. So first of all, first thing I have here is, will 7.3 have a time gate model? Basically, what Ian had to say was Argus has more stuff to do right away than Broken Shore did. So there's 5 chapters, basically 5 chapters to the new zone, and there's going to be 3 sub-zones basically that make up Argus. Day 1, 2 of the chapters will be unlocked, so it won't just be one chapter. Basically how Broken Shore was, 1 chapter each week, and there's like 9 chapters or something. So day 1, there's going to be 2 chapter unlocks. That's going to unlock the world quests. The second week, 2 more chapters will unlock. There'll be invasion points with new world quests, with different subzones opening up. And the third week, the raid and everything else remaining will be unlocked. So it'll only be a 3-week unlock instead of 9. And it'll give you more to do right away as well. Basically, from what they're saying too, is as you do different quests, that'll unlock the world quests of the area kind of thing. So you're going to be progressing a storyline. Interesting thing was unlock for Argus account wide or on each character. This, especially world quests and stuff, most things are actually account wide unlocks. So there'll be some things that you will have to do on your alts, but most things will be account wide. This is a step they're kind of going forward with everything, kind of making things more account wide, more alt friendly. Any plans to remove time gate and third relic slot, again with alts, gone in 7.3. You don't have to do the Broken Shore to empower your weapon either, and everyone's going to have AK-41 available as soon as 7.3 hits. So all of your alts will be caught up if they're not already. You'll be able to just go right to AK-41. So you'll be at AK-40, you'll be able to research AK-41. AK stands for Artifact Knowledge. Will Legion invasions continue in 7.3 and forward? Yep, they're not planning to ever really remove them. It'll always be a part of leveling your character for this sector of leveling, 1 to 110 and everything like that. There's going to be a follower catch-up system coming in 7.3. So if you played Warlords, for the followers, there was these armor and weapon things that you could increase the item level of your followers with, set it to, whatever it was, 845, 745, whatever it was. You could set it to that with 1 piece of gear or 1 item, and those will be available as well. Although you don't have to do the weapon and armor, it's just going to set it up, and that's going to let you catch back up, because I think he said the new cap's going to be like 950 on your followers item level. There's a question about artifact appearance transmogs. Basically, they are planning on letting you use them as Xmods in the future, and basically, there's some nuance to it as far as like the special appearances, like the unlock at the Mage Tower on Broken Shore, on what they're going to do with that. But in general, they do want you to do it because they don't want these appearances to be lost forever. They spent a lot of time on them, supposedly. Any more artifact skins? There's going to be no more artifact skins for this X pack. What the artifact skins that are available now are what's going to be available. I don't think I took notes on this, but I'll just point out really quick. What's going to change in 7.3 is artifact skins. So before you had to do 10 rated battlegrounds for one of the artifact skins as that spec. Now it doesn't matter what spec you do it in. As long as you do the requirement, you can be in any spec you want to do the unlock. As long as you have, as long as you do it with the artifact appearance, it doesn't matter what spec you're in. Thoughts on what was Ian's thoughts on the way the new Mythic Plus works? They changed like the loot system at the end and everything, made them a little bit more difficult. Very satisfied. Seems more rewarding for harder content. Participation is up across the board on all regions. However, he did point out that after a new raid comes out, participation in Mythic Plus immediately goes up because people are trying to farm the better gear, which is obviously it's good that what he did say though is Tomb equals Nighthold, so there hasn't been like a loss of player base, of at least that type of player base, from Nighthold to Tomb. Is there going to be a reusable augment room similar to the one that you can buy in Tannin Jungle? So an augment room. So right now you have to buy them off the auction house. Yes, in 7.3 there will be one. I think he said you need to be exalted to get it though, so it'll be a little while before you can get it. Someone asked, why is there so much soaking in Tomb of Sargeras, like mechanical soaking, like you have to stand in this and soak it, or whether it's a swirly or whether it's just a circle you have to stand in. It's a ton of bosses that have this. He jokingly called it the Tomb of Soak Garrus. It is something that they had talked about, I guess, among the developers, and they realized that it was kind of a problem. Basically, what happens is they split off into teams, each team devising each encounter in the raid. And when they would get to a point where, like, okay, everyone's just stacking too much for this, how can we get them to unstack? They're like, okay, we'll make them soak something. And they all came up with that solution instead of like new innovative solutions. And since they didn't like confer with each other necessarily, they didn't know that each individual person was coming up with the same mechanic to split up the raid. So in the future, they're going to make sure that they have a little bit more variance with how they are going to make people split up. Will another shards be relevant in 7.3? Not for the new stuff. There'll be a new material called Argonite in Argus, and the same vendor actually is going to be moving to Argus, that ethereal trader. Question was asked about split rating, which is something that the very high-end guilds do. So basically what this is you're going to have a bunch of alts. You are required to have a bunch of alts, and you're going to run the raid multiple times on each character because certain fights, especially Mythic difficulty, favor certain classes. So you might want all ranged, you might want all melee, you might want all boomkins, you might want all warriors. So you want to have this. So you need people with alts that can log on and do this. Blizzard, now this is a very small player base that does this. Blizzard doesn't like it. It thinks it's like not healthy. It really isn't. A small percent of the overall player base who do it. He said like maybe 1,000 people total, but it's still harmful and negative, has negative impacts on the game, at least for those players, because no one should be having to play this game 70, 80 hours a week, like to feel like they can be the top end. So my guess is that they'll try someday in the future to make it to where one class isn't so favored that you would need to have alts all the time. The last thing that I wrote down for notes wise was something I didn't know about. Apparently they were planning on doing Worgen and Goblin remodels on the way they look. This is something they're so committed to doing. It's a big deal to them. They have a standard that they said they want every model to be updated to at least the Pandaren, so Mr. Pandaria. They want everything to be updated to that. And Goblin and Worgens are not, and those will be coming. So Goblins and Worgens, I'm sure he sounded fairly sincere about this, so I'm guessing whatever you guys get will be pretty cool by the end of it, because apparently it was supposed to happen already, and it's not going to happen in 7.3. My guess is probably not to the next expansion, but hopefully they do something really cool for you guys, and it makes the wait worth it. That's about all I have for this. Not the most insightful Q&A ever, but yeah, that's all there was to it. I found it interesting still, just not as interesting as the other ones. As always, everyone have a good one.